I clutched my resume so tightly that the edges bent. My second hand dress itched against my skin, and I whispered to myself, just hand it in. Just one more chance. Behind me, laughter rang out. Is that? Oh my God, it is. A familiar voice. Mocked. I froze. I didn't need to turn, I knew that voice. Ethan, look at her, Claire, he said, his tone sharp as glass. Same pathetic dress, same desperate eyes. Some things never change. Claire's laugh joined his, light and cruel. She looks like she's playing dress up. Poor thing, probably thinks someone will hire her. My throat tightened. I forced myself to face them. Ethan. My voice cracked, but I didn't care. I'm here for a job interview. Not that it's any of your concern. He smirked, eyes traveling from my scuffed shoes to the frayed strap of my purse. A job? Here? What could you possibly offer them? They're looking for professionals, not charity cases. I gripped the resume tighter. I have skills. I work hard. Work hard? He laughed again. You mean like the time you begged me to pay for your textbooks? Or when your father's debts swallowed your house? Tell me, are you planning to beg this manager the same way? Ethan, stop, I whispered, heat rising in my cheeks. Claire leaned closer to him, her perfume sharp and sweet. Don't be too harsh. Maybe they need someone to mop the floors. She turned her cold gaze to me. That would suit you, wouldn't it? The humiliation burned. My hands trembled, but I forced my chin up. At least I know how to earn something honestly. Can you say the same? Ethan's smirk faltered for a second, but then he laughed louder, shaking his head. Always the fighter, aren't you? Still dreaming you'll climb out of the gutter. But news flash, you won't. People like me rise. People like you stay stuck. I swallowed hard. I loved you once, I said quietly. I believed in you. He shrugged. Your mistake, not mine. Claire tugged at his arm. Come on, Ethan. We'll be late for lunch. We shouldn't waste time with this. They brushed past me, his laughter trailing behind like poison in the air. I stood frozen, staring at the calf doors. My chest ached, but my hands finally loosened. The resume slipped, fluttering slightly in the breeze. For a moment, I thought of running after them, screaming that I wasn't worthless, that one day I'd prove them wrong. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I whispered to myself, one day. My voice was shaky, but it was mine. One day, he'll choke on that laughter. I pushed the calf door open and stepped inside. I still hear his laughter, I whispered, my hands gripping the chipped mug of cheap coffee. It plays in my head like a curse. Hannah leaned across the small table, her brows furrowed. You need to stop letting him haunt you. How can I? I snapped, then lowered my voice. He promised me once, he said, I'll marry you no matter how poor you are. Do you know what that promise means when you've lost everything? She sighed. I know about promises that turn to dust, but you can't let his betrayal be the chain around your neck. My chest tightened. First my father died, then the bank came for our house. I begged them to give me time, Hannah. They didn't care. They took the keys from my hands like I was nothing. You were grieving, she said softly. I was drowning, I corrected, bitterly. I worked nights at the diner, mornings at the store, and still the debt didn't shrink. And then, Ethan laughed, as if my pain was entertainment. Hannah reached for my hand, squeezing it. He's not worth your tears, but they don't stop. My throat ached. I cry when no one sees. Do you know what it feels like to walk by the house that once held your childhood, only to see strangers living there? Her grip tightened. I know it hurts, but one day, you'll walk by that same house, and it won't break you anymore. I shook my head. No, I can't even imagine tomorrow, let alone a future where I don't feel this emptiness. Then imagine me believing in you, she insisted. Because I do. I always have. Tears stung my eyes. I don't have strength. I'm tired, Hannah. I'm just tired of fighting battles I always lose. You haven't lost, she said firmly. You're still here, aren't you? Breathing, speaking, fighting to be heard. That's not defeat. That's survival. Her words struck something deep inside. But I shook my head again. Survival feels like punishment. She let the silence hang before whispering, or it could be preparation. I met her gaze, searching for the conviction I lacked. She smiled faintly, a smile that carried more faith in me than I ever had in myself. I wanted to believe her. I wanted to imagine a day when Ethan's betrayal didn't echo in my bones, when my father's death wasn't the weight crushing my chest. But in that moment, I only felt broken. I was stacking receipts at the diner counter when a deep voice interrupted. "You're wasted here." I looked up, startled. A man in a crisp suit sat at the bar, his eyes sharp but kind. "Excuse me?" I asked, setting the receipts aside. "You don't belong behind this counter," he said, sipping his coffee. "You read every detail on that bill before handing it to me. Most servers don't bother." "You're precise." I blinked. "It's just a habit." "No," he corrected. "It's discipline. That matters." I frowned. "Why are you telling me this?" He set the cup down. "Because I run an investment firm, and I know potential when I see it." I laughed, though it sounded bitter. "Potential? I'm barely holding my life together." "That's exactly why you're valuable," he said smoothly. "Survivors learn faster than the privileged." "What's your name?" I hesitated. "Emily." "Emily," he repeated thoughtfully. "I'm Daniel Ward. I want you to work for me." I nearly dropped the receipts. "Work for you? I don't know finance. I barely know how to balance my own bills." He smiled faintly. "Then I'll teach you. What I need is loyalty, determination, and grit. You clearly have all three." I stared at him. "Why would you take a chance on me?" "Because no one took a chance on me once," he answered quietly. "And because I see fire in your eyes, even when you're pretending to be tired." His words unsettled me. "What if I fail?" "Then you fail," he said simply. "But at least you'll fail forward. Better than rotting behind this counter." I exhaled, torn between fear and hope. "You don't even know me." "Not yet," he admitted, "but I want to." The shift ended with me still doubting, but the next day, I walked into his office. "Welcome," Daniel said, handing me a stack of reports. "Don't panic, just read. Circle what you don't understand." I groaned. "This is another language." "It is," he agreed, "but every language can be learned. Start small. Numbers first, then patterns, then power." Hours turned into nights. I sat across from him, asking endless questions. "What does ROI mean?" I asked one evening, my head heavy. "Return on investment," he replied patiently. "Every choice has one: money, time, even people. Understand that, and you'll understand power." My pen trembled. "And if the return is nothing?" "Then it's a lesson," he said. "Never waste the same way twice." His calm faith lit something in me. "Why do you keep helping me?" "Because," Daniel said with a small smile, "I believe in building people, not just portfolios." I swallowed hard. "I don't know if I can become who you think I can." He leaned back, eyes steady. "You already are. You just haven't realized it yet." And for the first time in years, I let myself believe him. Night, I sat by the window of my small apartment, staring at the city lights. My whisper filled the silence. "One day, no one will laugh at me again." The phone buzzed. Hannah's voice burst through. "What are you doing? Don't tell me you're drowning in numbers again." I sighed. "I am." Daniel gave me reports. "My head hurts, but I can't stop." "You're obsessed," she teased. Then her tone softened. "But maybe obsession is what you need. Dream bigger, Emily. Stop thinking survival. Think conquest." "Conquest?" I repeated, almost laughing. "I'm barely keeping myself together." "You're not the girl crying over Ethan anymore," she insisted. "You're sharpening yourself. Don't waste that hunger." Her words lingered long after we hung up. The next morning, I dropped the files onto Daniel's desk. "I stayed up all night, but I still don't understand half of it." He scanned my tired face. "You didn't sleep, did you?" "No," I admitted. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Ethan laughing again. Daniel leaned back, thoughtful. "Good, use that." My chest tightened. "Use it?" "Yes," he said firmly. "Pain is fuel. Hunger sharpens the mind. Let it drive you until it doesn't control you anymore." I clenched my fists. "Sometimes, I feel like I'll break." "You won't," he said simply. "You're too stubborn. I've seen people fold under less, but you keep fighting." "I don't feel strong." "Strength isn't a feeling. It's an action." I swallowed hard. "What if I'm chasing respect I'll never get?" He smiled faintly. "Respect isn't given, it's taken. And Emily, you're learning how." The words settled deep inside me. For a moment, I imagined myself not as the girl Ethan mocked, but as someone untouchable. I whispered, almost to myself, "Maybe I don't want love anymore. Maybe I just want power." Daniel's gaze sharpened. "Then stop whispering and start living like it." That night, back at the window, I stared at the skyline again. The city didn't look distant anymore. It looked like prey. "Emily," The board wants your numbers by 9, Daniel said, tossing a file onto my desk. I rubbed my tired eyes. I was here until 2 in the morning. He smirked. Then you'll survive another late night. Do it. And I did. Night after night, I drowned in reports. By dawn, my reflection in the glass walls looked like a ghost. One morning Hannah called. You sound dead. When's the last time you slept? I don't remember, I admitted, but I can't stop. If I pause, everything slips. You're going to burn out. Better to burn than rot, I whispered. She was silent for a beat. Ethan's laugh is still chasing you, isn't it? Yes. I pressed my forehead to the desk. Every time I want to quit, I hear it again. That laugh won't let me rest. Then turn it into fire, she urged. Not chains. Later that week, Daniel glanced at me during a meeting. Your analysis is sharper than mine now. When did you become the strategist instead of the assistant? Heat rushed to my cheeks. When you stopped answering my questions and forced me to figure them out, he chuckled. Exactly. That's how leaders are made. But I don't feel like a leader, I confessed. No leader ever does at the start, he replied. Doubt is proof you care about the outcome. Still, doubt gnawed at me. After presentations, I replayed every mistake. After victories, I wondered if they were luck. One night, Daniel found me staring at the city skyline from the office balcony. You're thinking of giving up again, he said. I exhaled. Every time I climb one step, I see 10 more waiting. He folded his arms. Do you know what separates survivors from winners? I shook my head. Survivors endure. Winners endure longer. His words struck deep. Months blurred into years. I became the voice people turned to in meetings, the name whispered in corridors. Clients sought me, colleagues envied me, and for the first time, I wasn't invisible. Still, exhaustion lived in my bones. One morning, Daniel slid a document across my desk. I frowned. What's this? Partnership papers, he said casually. My heart stuttered. You're making me a partner? You've earned it, he said. You built strategies that saved this firm. You've proven you can lead. Tears burned my eyes. I don't know what to say. Say yes, he replied with a rare smile. I stared at the contract, Ethan's cruel laughter echoing in my memory. But this time it sounded weaker. I whispered, yes. And for the first time in years, the fire inside me felt like victory, not survival. The chandelier light shimmered across the ballroom, reflecting off champagne glasses and diamond necklaces. I adjusted the black silk of my gown, forcing my breath to steady. Emily, a voice I knew too well sliced through the hum of chatter. I turned, and there he was, Ethan. His tuxedo fit perfectly, his smile faltering as his eyes swept over me. Beside him, Claire clung to his arm, glittering in jewels. Ethan, I said smoothly, my lips curving into a calm smile. He cleared his throat. I didn't expect to see you here. I'm a sponsor tonight, I replied, letting the words hang. Claire's eyes narrowed. A sponsor? Yes, I said lightly, sipping champagne. My firm contributes to several charities. Ethan's brow furrowed. Your firm? Mine, I confirmed. Partnership has its advantages. Claire forced a laugh. Well, isn't that unexpected? Last I saw, you were serving coffee? I finished for her, tilting my head. Yes, I remember. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. You look different. I smiled faintly. Success does that. For a moment, silence stretched, his eyes searching mine. I could almost hear the echo of his cruel laughter from years ago. But tonight, the sound was powerless. Claire leaned closer to him, her voice low but sharp. We should mingle. The Donovans are waiting. But Ethan lingered. Emily, maybe we could talk later? Catch up? I let my gaze drift over him slowly. Catch up? About what? How you mocked me when I had nothing. Or how you walked away when I needed you most. His jaw tightened. That was years ago. People change. Do they? I asked softly. Because I haven't forgotten. Claire tugged his arm. Ethan, let's go. He hesitated. Emily. I raised a hand, silencing him. Enjoy your evening. I certainly will. As they turned away, Hannah appeared at my side, her grin mischievous. Well, that looked deliciously awkward. My laugh was quiet but steady. He didn't expect me to be standing here as his equal. No, she said, eyes sparkling. He expected you to be beneath him forever. But look at you now. I glanced toward Ethan across the room, watching as he avoided looking back at me. My heart still pounded, but it wasn't from pain anymore, it was from power. Hannah nudged me. You're trembling. I'm not trembling, I whispered. I'm burning. She raised her glass. Then burn brighter, Emily. Make them choke on it. I clinked my glass against hers, my smile sharp as the diamonds around us. For the first time, I knew this game wasn't his anymore. It was mine. Have you heard? Hannah slid into the booth across from me, lowering her voice. Ethan's company is sinking. I stiffened. Rumors? Not just rumors, she said. Numbers. Investors are pulling out. Debts piling high. I sipped my coffee slowly, masking the rush in my chest. People like Ethan always find a way to crawl back. Not this time, Hannah replied. Claire's been showing up at events alone. Her smile looks painted on. I tried to sound indifferent. Maybe she's just tired of pretending. Or maybe the empire is crumbling. Hannah pressed. Emily, this is karma working. Her words echoed in my head all night. The next morning, I walked into Daniel's office. I need clarity. On Sterling Corp's numbers, I said, my voice firm. Daniel raised a brow. Sterling? Ethan's company? Yes. He studied me. Personal or professional? Both, I admitted. He opened a file, sliding it across the desk. Debt restructuring denied. Loan defaults pending. They're bleeding cash. My throat tightened. So it's true. Daniel leaned back. It's worse than rumors. They're collapsing. I stared at the papers, a mix of satisfaction and sorrow churning inside me. Why do I feel conflicted? Because you loved him once, Daniel said gently. I whispered, part of me still does. Or maybe I just love the memory of who I thought he was. Daniel's gaze hardened. Don't confuse memory with reality. He mocked you when you were at your lowest. That's who he is. I pressed my palms against the table. I keep asking myself, would I have forgiven him if he'd come back then? If he'd chosen me over money? And what's the answer? I closed my eyes. I don't know, but I do know I'll never forget the sound of his laughter. Daniel nodded once. Then let that memory keep you steady. This isn't your burden, it's his consequence. Later, Hannah called again. Still conflicted? Yes, Emily, listen to me, she said firmly. You didn't push him into debt. You didn't twist his arm. He did this. Karma is catching up, and you don't owe him sympathy. I swallowed hard. So I should just watch? You should just live, she corrected, and let him face what he created. Her words sank deep. For the first time, I didn't feel like the broken girl in his shadow. I felt like the storm. He couldn't escape. Daniel called me into his office one quiet morning. His desk was bare, his suit jacket draped over the chair. I'm retiring, he said simply. My stomach dropped. What? No, you can't. This firm is yours. He smiled. Faintly, it was mine. Now it's yours. The paperwork's done. You're the majority owner. I froze. Me? Daniel, I'm not ready. Yes, you are, he cut in. You've been running this place for years without realizing it. All I did was clear the path. Tears pricked my eyes. Why me? Because you earned it. And because you'll never waste it. I know that. I whispered. I don't know how to thank you. Don't thank me, he said, standing. Build something bigger than me. That will be thanks enough. The weeks that followed blurred into meetings and signatures. One night, Hannah called, her voice buzzing with excitement. Tell me it's true. You own the firm now? Yes, I admitted. Daniel stepped back. Her scream nearly deafened me. Emily, do you realize what that means? You're one of the most powerful women in the city. Power doesn't feel real yet, I confessed. But I know exactly where to use it. She paused. Where? The bank, I whispered. There was silence on the line before Hannah said, the same one that took your house? Yes, I've already started buying shares. Quietly, piece by piece. Her breath caught. Emily, this isn't just business, I said, my voice low. This is closure. I want the same board. That humiliated my family to answer to me. Days later, I sat across from a banker, signing the final papers. He smiled, oblivious. Congratulations, Miss Carter. You're now the majority shareholder. When he left, I stared at the keys in my hand, keys to the building, the vault, the boardroom. My father's house had been taken with a stroke of a pen. Tonight, I held the pen. At the next board meeting, I walked into the oak-paneled room where years ago I had begged for time. The same portraits hung on the walls, the same heavy table stretched before me. One of the directors cleared his throat. Miss Carter, you didn't expect me to own you, I interrupted. My voice didn't shake, but here we are. Silence spread. I could feel the ghosts of my past pressing against my shoulders. but I lifted my chin. Higher. Inside, my heart whispered the truth I had waited years to speak. Now I am the one holding the pen. The papers lay in front of me, thick with legal ink. One signature, and Ethan's empire was gone. The banker cleared his throat. Miss Carter, final approval is required. I lifted the pen slowly. This seizes the Sterling estate? Yes. The house, the assets, everything. My hand didn't shake. I signed, pressing hard enough for the ink to bite. When the banker left, silence filled the room. I whispered to myself, "You laughed at me when I had nothing. Now I hold everything." Minutes later, the door burst open. Ethan stumbled in, Claire trailing behind, her diamonds flashing like shields. "Emily, please," Ethan said, his voice rough. "Tell me this isn't true." I leaned back in the leather chair, calm. "It's true. Sterling Corp defaulted. The bank reclaimed its assets. And I own the bank." His face drained of color. "You? No, this can't," Claire hissed. "You said we had time, Ethan. You promised quiet." He snapped, then turned back to me. "Emily, you don't have to do this. We were once, we were us." I raised a brow. "Us? Do you mean when you mocked my dress, when you laughed while the bank took my home? That us?" He flinched. "I was young, stupid. Don't punish me for a mistake." I laughed softly. "A mistake? You didn't trip over words. You gutted me with them. And now you're asking for mercy?" His fists clenched. "If you do this, you know better than me." I stood, walking toward him. "The difference, Ethan, is that I didn't destroy you out of cruelty. You destroyed yourself out of greed. I'm just the one holding the pen." Claire's mask cracked. Her voice shook. "Emily, think carefully. Without this house, we're ruined. The creditor's not my problem," I said coldly. Ethan dropped to his knees. "Emily, please, just give me one chance. I'll pay it back." I cut him off. "No, you had chances. You threw them away with every cruel word." His eyes burned, desperate. "I loved you once." I tilted my head. "No, Ethan, you loved power. And you laughed at me because you thought I'd never have it." Silence filled the room. His shoulders sagged. Claire's heels clicked as she turned sharply. "I won't drown with you," she spat, storming out. Ethan reached for me, voice cracking. "Don't do this, Emily. Don't let me lose everything." I met his gaze, steady, unflinching. "You already have." His laughter from years ago echoed in my mind, but this time, it sounded hollow, and I smiled. Ethan's knees hit the polished floor with a dull thud. His voice cracked. "Emily, I'm begging you, give me another chance in business, in us." I stared down at him, my chest tight. "Us died years ago, Ethan. You killed it with your laughter." He shook his head wildly. "No, I was a fool, blind. I see it now. You're everything I wanted, everything I need. Please, don't leave me with nothing." Claire's sharp gasp cut the air. She slapped him hard, the sound echoing against the walls. "Pathetic," she spat. "Begging? Your ex? In front of me?" "Claire, wait," he stammered. "No," she snapped, yanking off her diamond ring and tossing it at him. "Rot in your failure, Ethan." Her heels clicked furiously as she stormed out, the door slamming behind her. The room fell into silence, broken only by Ethan's ragged breathing. He looked up at me, tears streaking his face. "Emily, please. I can rebuild if you just give me one chance. I'll work for you. I'll do anything." I felt a rush of emotions, old pain twisting with pity, but beneath it all, power pulls through me. "You think this is about business?" I asked softly. "You think you can bargain your way back into my life?" "I love you," he whispered desperately. I laughed, cold and sharp. "Love? When I begged for yours, you gave me mockery. When I needed compassion, you handed me shame." His hands pressed against the floor. "I was wrong. I see that now. Please, let me prove it." I knelt slightly, meeting his broken gaze. "Do you remember that girl outside the cafe? The one, holding a resume, shaking with humiliation? She begged for love. She begged for you." His lips trembled. "Yes." I straightened, my voice steady. "That girl is gone. I will never beg again." He reached for me, but I stepped back. "Emily, no, Ethan." My words were final. "You're the one on your knees now. And I won't save you." His shoulders slumped, his sob filling the room. For a moment, I almost felt sorry. Almost. But pity wasn't stronger than power. Ethan's eyes were swollen, his voice hoarse. "Emily, I can't lose you. Not like this. Don't walk away." I studied him, the man who once stood tall, the man who once mocked me in front of the world. Now, he was a shadow. You already lost me, I said quietly. He shook his head, crawling closer. We can fix it. I'll change. I'll rebuild. Please, just give me a chance. I lifted my hand, stopping him. No, Ethan, you taught me my greatest lesson. His eyes searched mine. What lesson? That betrayal can either break you, I said, my voice steady, or build you. He swallowed hard. And which did it do? It built me, I answered. Every cruel word, every laugh, every time you made me feel small, I carried it like stone. And now I've built a fortress from it. He flinched, whispering, I didn't mean yes, you did, I cut in. And maybe you regret it now. But regrets don't erase scars. They don't bring back the girl who begged for your love. He lowered his gaze, broken. Emily, I was young. You were selfish. I snapped. And I was naive. But I'm not her anymore. I won't kneel for you. I won't bleed for you. His voice cracked. So this is it? Yes. I straightened my shoulders. This is it. The silence between us felt heavy, but not on me, on him. For the first time, I wasn't the one suffocating. I turned toward the door. Wait, he begged. Don't leave me like this. I looked back once, my hand on the handle. Ethan, I don't need revenge to destroy you. The truth already has you lost to the very girl you laughed at. He tried to stand, but his legs gave out. Please no, I whispered. No more begging. Not from me, not from you. I opened the door, the cool air of the hallway washing over me. With each step, the weight of years slid off my shoulders. My father's death, the house stolen, the nights I cried alone, the laughter that haunted me. Now, it was behind me. The bank, the wealth, the power, they were mine. But more than that, I was mine. At the end of the hall, I paused. My voice was low, meant only for me, yet it filled the silence. I am no longer the girl you laughed at, I whispered. I am the woman you can never touch again. And I walked away, free.